The News at Noon starts right now.
Hot already. The first official day of summer still nearly a month away, and the new season doesn't start till June 20th.
And this holiday weekend could be even worse with the potential for triple-digit temperatures. Hate to tell you that, but it's the truth. So keeping cool doesn't have to cost you money, though. The city of San Antonio offers several places to cool off for free, including splash pads, swimming pools, public libraries, community centers, and even senior centers.
Well, it doesn't have to be a city-owned facility. You can go to a shopping center, go to a mall, go to a movie, do those kind of things. Just get out of the heat if you can.
City officials plan to meet today. They're going to assess the situation, and that includes considering the Memorial Day holiday ahead.
And the current plan is to keep locations where people can stay cool open during regular business hours.
All right, so on the holiday, most libraries are going to be closed, but the San Antonio Public Library does plan to open these three locations. That's Westfall, Henry Guerra, and Ego. These libraries will be from 12 to 8. They're going to be open 12 to 8 on Memorial Day.
And by the way, all that is on KSAT.com. We also have a link to this website. It's a map the city put together that shows all the places around town where you can stay cool. It has spots like splash pads and cooling centers, let you know where they are.
And all very, very important things to think about. Again, we've been messaging this over the past several days. We know that it gets hot every summer. It's nothing that we haven't dealt with before. It's just early to be seeing this extreme heat. And when we're not acclimated to it and accustomed to it, it can be a little shock to the system at times as well, especially with it being Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people headed out and about. So heat safety, definitely something to keep at top of mind. Speaking of which, let's get you another look at current conditions outside. Kicking off this Thursday afternoon. You guessed it, it's going to be another hot and humid one across South Central Texas, already nearing 90 degrees here in San Antonio. We have managed to climb into the low 90s for places like New Braunfels and Pleasanton, 82 in Bernie, 83 in Kerrville, so just a little bit cooler up into the hill country this noon hour. We will continue to see the morning cloud cover break up and scatter out just a little bit more later on this afternoon, very similar to what we've seen over the past several days. Because of that, afternoon temperatures climbing into the upper 90s, 98 degrees, the forecast high here in San Antonio. When you factor in the humidity, feels like temperatures climbing into the triple digits. Later this evening, though, a little bit of a breeze that could help out at times. Winds out of the south-southeast at 10 to 15, gusting upwards of 20. Looking ahead, still toasty. Those thermometers will trend in the upper 90s, even approaching that triple-digit mark this weekend. We also do still have some smoke from all that agricultural burning happening in Mexico. That's filtering in from the south. Small dip to air quality, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. In terms of rain chances, I wish they were better. Very minimal and isolated over the next several days. We'll talk about all those details coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. Today, the Senate is set to vote on a border security bill. It comes after the measure failed earlier. Part of that is because of Republican opposition, but there's also division within the Democratic caucus. Some Democrats and immigrant advocates cast this as a political move ahead of the election. They also take issue with several key elements of the bill, including the fact that there's no funding for Ukraine. 60 votes are needed to break a GOP filibuster attempt. Democrats only have 51 votes total. Most Republicans have already said they're going to vote no.
A grandmother on the stand setting the record straight on how she found out that her missing grandson was dead. That testimony still echoing in the courtroom today as the trial of Daniel Garcia continues. The grandmother explaining that she was told her grandson was with friends, but learned little 5-year-old Dominic Aguilar Acevedo was dead. His body was found in a ravine in Colorado. Through a translator, the grandmother told the court that her daughter, Nicole Aguilar, only came clean about Dominic when she visited her in Costa Rica. She also said she believed her daughter had nothing to do with the boy's beating death. Testimony set to resume around 1:30 this afternoon. We are live streaming it on KSAT.com, KSAT Plus, and the KSAT YouTube page.
This noon, the search continues for a shooting suspect. Police say someone wearing a mask walked into a Northeast Side food mart and shot the clerk. Officers say it happened around 10:30 last night in the 12,100 block of El Sendero. That's near Leonhardt Road, and not far from El Dorado Elementary School. Now, police say that they got a call from a hold-up alarm. And when officers got to the food mart, they found the victim shot in his upper part of his body. The clerk was taken to the hospital. Police say the suspect then ran off.
Thefts at lots of popular major retail stores here, setting the stage for surveillance and investigation, and now an arrest. A 59-year-old man ended up behind bars. Police here say that he was charged with a theft ring that they'd been watching for more than 2 weeks. The arrest affidavit says Wendell Burleson is one of 4 people involved in stealing, then reselling all sorts of stolen stuff across the area. Burleson is charged with engaging in organized criminal activity, and you can read about the other arrests on the case on our website, KSAT.com. A longtime Uvalde CISD board member walking away from the job early. Trustees unanimously accepted Annabelle White's resignation at last night's school board training meeting. White's letter to the board read, her resignation is effective immediately, but it did not explain her decision. According to the school district's website, White still had 2 years left on her current term. The district plans to open the application process for candidates this week. Board trustees would appoint a candidate next month. White's resignation comes just days after the district confirmed that its police chief of just 1 year, Joshua Gutierrez, is resigning.
The Cowboys need to do something so they quit standing out among all the professional teams in Dallas. We'll explain coming up.
This is just a whole different way of life.
Just fell in love with it. Just its quaintness, it's rolling hills.
Everybody that shows up here goes, we had no idea you guys were out here.
It's so nice to be out here because the minute you turn on to Scenic Loop, there's a total drop in noise.
We actually formed as Scenic Loop Helotes Creek Alliance. It's just these 80 or 100 people got together and said, hey, development's coming our way. Let's see what we can do to represent ourselves to that development encroachment.
There was new traffic lights have been added, which is a good thing. It's a 4-way stop with a lot of cars. Accidents are bound to happen. And you're also with several bikers, so you need to be very cautious.
We've been approached by developers ever since I can remember.
Other people may not care until it affects their water. And if you have to build these treatment plants all around San Antonio because all of their water is contaminated and it's their taxpayer dollar, then it is in their backyard and then it affects them.
We decided that you really need income to kind of sustain these type of properties.
It's unbelievable how many people stop and just admire them. And I think it's just because they're unique.
And that's kind of the beauty of Scenic Loop is you will always find something new every time you drive down this road.
A beautiful part of the city in Bexar County, and tonight we're going to feature that on our next episode of Know My Neighborhood. This month we're headed over to the Gray Forest area where the Scenic Loop Helotes Creek Alliance is concerned over conservation.
The entire Know My Neighborhood team is going to be live at the Gray Moss Inn today at 6 o'clock. You can watch it live on TV, KSAT.com or KSAT Plus, available any way you stream.
Want to get your groove on? Let's groove tonight. I don't know. You can learn how to dance. San Antonio Parks and Recreation opens registration for summer dance and music classes today. Did you get that? Do you know that song? Let's groove.
It's a disco thing.
Yeah. Learn dances or new instruments, perform at recitals, become musicians, and make new memories with the city's summer programming starts June 10th all the way through August 4th. Registration is going to be open at 7 o'clock tonight. Class rates varies from age, and discounted rates are available for siblings in the same household. Let's groove tonight.
All right, San Antonio-based renowned artist Anel Flores opening a new retrospective exhibition. Her work and that of 8 other artists from San Antonio's queer community and the Mexican Cultural Institute San Antonio. The I Am Home exhibition is going to be kicking off with a reception later on today. It's going to be held at 6 to 9 at the Mexican Cultural Institute of San Antonio at 600 Hemisphere Plaza Way. Admission is free. The gallery remains open until July 1st.
Mia's still trying to figure that one out.
Mia wasn't even born when that.
Okay, I very much appreciate you guys, though. I feel like this happens a lot.
I know, we're constantly re-educating her on good music.
I need the cultural education.
There's some folks in those vehicles right there could be grooving to some music while they're barely moving. There is apparently an accident on 410, and that's the access road from 281 to 410 going west. So if you headed that direction, check it out. There you go. You can be grooving in your car.
Grooving to the music.
There you go.
Got the AC blasting on high.
Yeah, well, nothing like they're going to have it blasting this weekend.
Yep. It's going to be.
It's actually cool right now.
It's going to be a common thing. I know we still have some clouds, so that's the good thing. But yes, as we really start to see more sunshine return this afternoon, temperatures cranking back up. We need more rain, and unfortunately just very, very straight isolated chances over the next several days. The aquifer is down about 0.8 of a foot today at 632.5. Good news in the pollen count. Yes, mold are still present, but they are now in the low category compared to moderate yesterday. Grass is present, but is low at 10. We'll have another look at that extended forecast coming up.
All right, cranking up the AC.
Question of the day comes with that.
Oh, yeah.
You're
well, I imagine they have air conditioning over at SA
so.
Live.
Look how cool they are.
There was a time when we didn't. But
That's true. That's a whole different story.
You don't want to do the show outside today.
Well, you think about it though, with this time of year and and this heat, because a lot of folks are graduating right now.
Oh, yeah.
We've had some college graduations, high school. So we want you give a shout out to the graduate in your life. Make sure you send in those pictures. I know some of the high schools are ending this week, maybe next week too, but we want you to show us those pictures. So
yes, we would love to see them. So scan that QR code and do that.
But back to that heat, it's like, what is there to really beat this heat? I mean,
man, look at it. I knew it. I knew it was coming. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all later. I'm not gonna sit there and watch that. No, turn them on. Get. Come back to us. I'm not watching that.
That's mango chamoy.
I'm not
strawberry.
watching that. No. They're eating ice cream while we're sitting there.
Note to our director, Will.
Yeah.
Don't let him do that to me.
And by the way, have you ever experienced a preschool graduation?
Oh yeah. Well, that's what Justin was doing yesterday.
He was doing his I went to a 5-year-old preschool graduation in Birmingham, Alabama. The grandson, now he's going into kindergarten next year. It was a big deal.
You graduate from everything now.
I just love seeing them in their little cap and gowns and the pomp and circumstance. It's so cute.
Setting them up for success.
Both of Justin's daughters have graduated to the next level.
Yep.
So that's great stuff.
Big time of year for the Horn family.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. Big time of year for temperatures.
Yeah,
well,
they're having a good time.
They surely are. Very, very elevated temperatures in store, not just today, not just tomorrow, but even into Memorial Day weekend. It is something that we've been dealing with for the vast majority of this week. Here's a look at what high temperatures looked like yesterday. 96, our official high here in San Antonio. It was 98 in New Braunfels, 94 out east in Gonzales. Take a look at our far western counties, though. 106 in Carrizo Springs, 107 in Laredo. Now, for context, our average high for this time of year is 88 degrees. This afternoon and even into the upcoming weekend, we are going to be sitting about 10 to 15 degrees above the average. And of course, when you factor in all of the humidity and moisture in place, it makes it feel even hotter. By the way, 100-degree day possible on Sunday, the first one of the year. And if that verifies, that will tie the existing record for the day. So we've got a lot to monitor when it comes to the heat. We also have just a few very, very isolated rain chances, looking a little bit better, though, by early next week. Week boundary moving through on Memorial Day, 20% chance follows that. Here's what we're looking at right now. We are quiet across South Central Texas. That will likely be the case throughout the remainder of the day and really into this weekend as well. Tornadoes, possible tornadoes moved through Temple yesterday. Right now, severe thunderstorms continue just to the north of that area. Waco seeing some of that activity. This is just to the north of Bryan College Station. Notice how this is being centered around the northern edge of this area of high pressure. So we've got a big blue H centered just off to our south. This is still going to be the driving, dominating feature of our weather pattern into Memorial Day weekend. So that's why not a lot to talk about when it comes to rain chances and really why those unseasonably hot temperatures will continue. But as I just mentioned, on Monday, Memorial Day itself, it's possible we see that high pressure system move ever so slightly south. It could leave just enough room for a weak, quote unquote, cool front to move in. Again, it's not great. A 20% chance for a few isolated storms late Memorial Day into Tuesday and Wednesday. As of right now, if you do cash in on a quick shower or storm, consider yourself one of the lucky ones, and we will continue to keep you posted. But you can see here on your futurecast this afternoon, more sunshine. I think we could see a few showers and storms to the north, mainly closer to the Fredericksburg and Austin area. Into tomorrow morning, very similar to what we've seen the past several days. Morning cloud cover builds back in because of all of that humidity. We see more sunshine return into the afternoon, high temperatures climbing into the upper 90s and some triple digits out west. And then Friday night, again, just about a 10% chance for us here locally. The better activity well off to our north. So we will just talk about the heat. In the meantime, now 90 degrees here in the Alamo City. Winds out of the south-southeast at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So we do have a little bit of a breeze helping in spots. Check out where we've already seen more sunshine return. Temperatures even hotter. 93 in Pleasanton. It's 95 in Cotulla. 95 over in Carrizo Springs. Rock Springs, though, sitting in the 70s right now because of some of that thicker cloud cover in place. As we start to see more sunshine return this afternoon, high temperature pointed around 98, just a 10% chance for a stray shower. Most of us staying dry, thermometers gradually falling into the 80s, especially after the sun goes down. 90s will once again be a common theme out there today. Yes, some low triple digits possible, especially the farther south and west that you go. But here's the thing, with all of that humidity, it will feel like the triple digits for pretty much all of us out there for a few hours this afternoon. So we'll continue to build by a few degrees for the actual air temperatures into this weekend. Again, feeling a little bit hotter for Memorial Day plans. And then if we can find that weak boundary to move through early next week, a few isolated storm chances possible and temperatures not as bad, trending more towards the mid-90s. I did talk about earlier that we have some smoke as well in the air. We'll detail that, talk about air quality in the next half hour.
Thanks, Mia.
I don't think it's fair that Dallas-Fort Worth gets all the rain either. Every day seems like they're getting rain. Cowboys quarterback wants to do something that hadn't been done since Troy Aikman was the quarterback. You can probably figure that out, but if you can't, we'll let you know what that is coming up. And the Brennan Bears softball team trying to make some history of their own. Dallas Cowboys went to their first organized team activities, or OTA, of the new year. Dak Prescott is there. However, there's a couple of big names that aren't there. Michael Parsons, CeeDee Lamb are two of the big names that are not participating in the voluntary workouts. It's about who's there, though. Prescott is entering the final year of a 4-year, $160 million deal. Wants to become the first Cowboys quarterback since Troy Aikman to lead the team to a Super Bowl. And if he looks around Dallas, he'll see the playoff success, both the Stars and the Mavericks right now. And, of course, they're on the heels of the Rangers winning the World Series last season. So Dak says he wants to feel all that fun as well.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, obviously supporting all the Dallas teams. Been rooting them on through it all. Yeah, and time to go get these conference for both of them. Oh, it's not jealousy. Yeah, it fires you up. Yeah, 100%. I think any competitor should, damn sure, in my position, leader of the team, understanding what winning means here, not getting it done, and then watching your brothers, you say, your brothers across the city going making things happen. Nobody. I want it for them. Trust me, I want it because it only, as I said, it only raises stakes and makes it tougher on me, and I'm for that. And so, go win it. Go win it. Rangers did it. Other two go do it. And put more pressure on us.
The goal definitely state's definitely the goal. We've been working really hard all year to get to this point. It's a realization like we can do this. Now that it's actually here and it's finally come, we've made it this far. It's definitely a really proud moment for all of us.
Yeah, the young ladies from Brennan are in the midst of an incredible softball postseason run. The Bears defeated two of their district rivals, O'Connor and Harlan, in routes. And they are en route to the Class 6A Region 4 Finals, where they're going to take on Weslaco. Brennan is well-rounded, not really a star player. They just all get together and become one big star. And if you ask Brennan, mental toughness is the reason for their deep playoff run. And last weekend in a must-win game, 3 against Clemens in the regional semis, the Bears' willpower was on full display.
It was a really, really hot day. You know, it was tied for a long time, and the heat was just beaming down on us. We're on turf, it's a lot hotter. And so Coach U was like, it's going to be the mentally tougher team. They're playing the same heat, they're in the same conditions, but who's going to be the one who's more mentally tough to get out of this?
A common theme you always see with successful teams, strong chemistry. Bears head coach Selena Garcia says her group is like a family on and off the field.
It's a special group. Coaching for so long, it's special when the team chemistry is just awesome. And this group, they have such great chemistry. They are great teammates. They pick each other up. They love on each other. They hold each other accountable, but in a good way. We're doing all we can to try to reach that, end goal, that state title. And I think it's that much more special because your whole 4 years, this is what you're working for, and nobody can take that away from you.
All right, we're going to see if that family can bring home that trophy. The Bears can reach the state tournament for the first time since 2017. The regional final is going to start tonight, 8 o'clock, Cannabis Field. Game 2 tomorrow, and then if necessary, a game 3 is Saturday. So good luck to those young ladies.
Ooh, in the heat too.
Yeah, that's. So if you got that, might be your advantage.
There you go. Get tough. Screenings for early signs of colorectal cancer. They could become more simple. How a new test could help doctors get the treatments out that they need.
And anyone who's been denied emergency care now has a more streamlined option when it comes to reporting it. We'll break down what you need to know if you need to file a complaint in our next half hour.
This is going to sound incredible, but what if we told you that there might be a way for your body to regrow your pancreas if it's been damaged? It would be a life-altering step for type 1 diabetes patients, and the research is being done right here in San Antonio. Our Courtney Friedman takes us to the place where that high-tech study is happening right now and explains how you could participate.
Is there anything on the market like this? No. Is there anything much like this in research? Not that I know of.
That one-of-a-kind research happening right here in San Antonio could change everything for type 1 diabetes patients.
But first, let's talk about type 1 diabetes. It starts with this. Sugar, it helps fuel the body, but in order for it to travel through your body correctly, you need insulin, which is a hormone inside the pancreas, which is this little guy lit up right there. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreas produces little to no insulin, so sugar builds up in the bloodstream. It's very serious and very dangerous, and people with type 1 diabetes could end up on insulin shots or a pump for their whole life.
If someone's got type 1 diabetes right now, there's really no treatment except insulin, so we can't reverse anything.
Dr. Sherwin Schwartz is hoping he can change that. He's the senior medical consultant of the Evolution Research Group and a longtime local doctor who has spent his career bringing important research studies to San Antonio. This current trial, unheard of.
It's a national study, and there's several sites, including San Antonio, thank God, where they have a compound they're working on that will make the pancreas potentially grow its insulin cells back. And it's never been done before.
An injection that could allow people's own bodies to repair their damaged pancreas.
Would this be considered a cure if this were to work?
If it works, yes.
In the very least, a stepping stone to history. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Now, they need these study participants right now. Here's a look at who qualifies. Type 1 diabetic patients between 18 and 60 years old. Your disease must be caught early on, and you can't have any other serious medical issues. You will be compensated for your time. The number to call, 210-934-0500.
More medical news. A simple blood test to detect colon cancer could move a step closer to approval by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The blood test is called SHIELD. It screens for early signs of colorectal cancer. A panel of expert advisors to the FDA are set to evaluate data on the screening test and vote on whether it's safe and effective. If SHIELD receives FDA approval, it'll be the first approved blood screening test for colorectal cancer that meets requirements for Medicare reimbursement. The test would not replace other screening methods that are commonly used, but FDA approval would make it more widely available and broadly covered as other screening options.
The National Hurricane Center predicting a hyperactive Atlantic hurricane season. It released what it's calling the most active preseason forecast in the agency's history. It's forecasting between 17 and 25 named storms. Of those, 8 to 13 could become hurricanes. 4 to 7 on that scale could strengthen to Category 3 or stronger. The forecast comes as a vast area of the southern U.S. has been deluged with drenching flooding storms. Not here, not even close to here, but a dozen cities from Texas to the Florida Panhandle are having one of their wettest years to date. Not fair.
Outside with live, yeah, I think part of the reason is I don't think the Gulf has cooled off as much as it normally does. And the Atlantic is still warm too as well, right?
There you go. So I do want to talk about that because, yes, this has been a big topic of conversation in the weather world this morning since NOAA did release their above normal seasonal outlook for the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, which, by the way, starts in 9 days. The first official day on June 1st. It runs through November 30th. Take a look at these numbers. So the top bars that you see, that's NOAA's forecast. We typically look at 2 different credible forecasts. The first one, yes, from NOAA and the National Hurricane Center. The second one from Colorado State University. Yes, they are calling for an above normal season, but I do want to reiterate that that doesn't mean we are going to see an above normal number of landfalls directly impact the United States, and especially for us here in Texas. But of course, it only takes one storm to make a significant impact, so we will need to monitor it. They are crediting near record warm Atlantic Ocean temperatures, as David was just talking about. Also, more waves of energy coming off of the coast of Africa, which when those waves of energy move through those favorable conditions across the Atlantic, that's when we can see some of those tropical systems form. So just know that we'll continue to keep you updated in the months ahead. Until then, unfortunately, not a lot of rain in sight over the next several days. The heat will continue to be the big story. The white numbers, what you're looking at, air temperature, the yellow numbers, heat index values. It's already feeling like the triple digits in a few spots, especially New Braunfels, Converse, as well as on the south side of Bexar County at Stinson. This afternoon, 98 degrees, the forecast high temperature here in San Antonio, feeling like the triple digits. Still will be hot if you're stepping out for any Thursday evening plans. Then looking ahead to your Memorial Day weekend, at least into this weekend, still hot, still humid, and it will be a little hazy at times with that smoke. So we'll get you more of those details coming up in just a few, guys.
Thank you, Mia. Federal officials announcing a new way to report to the government if you were denied emergency medical care. Did you know that all Americans are entitled to emergency medical care under a federal law? So any patients who believe they were wrongly turned away can file a complaint. That triggers an investigation, and it threatens the hospital's funding.
That's been around since the late 80s. So here is what is changing. In the past, emergency health care complaints were funneled through state agencies, and the process often included a number of steps. Now patients who were denied emergency care have a web portal, and that means you can file complaints directly with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. It enforces the federal emergency care law.
Now, if you are filing a complaint, you're going to need to provide details about what just happened. That means, things like the hospital's name as well as the date of the incident. You also want to make sure that you file your complaint as soon as possible. You can find the portal to do that on cms.gov. Federal officials are saying that it's expected to speed up the investigations and provide more transparency when it comes to emergency care access. Meantime, the Internal Revenue Service extending its free file tax program through 2029. The agency partnered with several tax preparation companies after filing software free for taxpayers. This year, nearly 3 million people used the program to file returns. That's a 7.3% increase from last year. Anyone with an adjusted gross income of $79,000 or less is eligible, and those who made more than that can actually use the IRS's free file fillable forms.
The WNBA expanding outside the U.S. The Women's Pro Basketball League announced it's adding a franchise in Toronto. They'll start playing in 2026. That would be the WNBA's 14th team. The soon-to-be International League is expanding to 13 in 2025 with the Golden State Valkyries. Then the new Toronto team is going to be owned by billionaire Larry Tannenbaum of Kilmer Sports, Inc. He's the chairman of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment Limited. Tannenbaum is also a governor of the NBA's Toronto Raptors, the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs, and Major League Soccer's Toronto FC.
Apple Music releasing its list of the 100 best albums in their opinion. Lauryn Hill's 1998 album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, topped the list.
Michael Jackson's Thriller from 1982 is number 2 on that list.
Apple Music calls the list a modern 21st century ranking of the greatest records ever made. It says it was created by experts and artists, songwriters, producers, and industry professionals, but they didn't ask us.
Nope. All right, so here's the top 10. This is the full one. There's The Miseducation, there's Thriller, then Abbey Road from the Beatles, Purple Rain from Prince, Blonde, Frank Ocean, Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. Okay.
Yeah, I get that.
All right.
All right. Also, 7th, we got Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar. 8th, Back to Black, Amy Winehouse. I can get with that. 9th, Nevermind from Nirvana. And 10th, Lemonade by Beyonce. I think some of the Beehive's not going to be happy about her being number 10.
I'm not sure about all those. The roads will be busy over the next few days. A lot of people will be making stops at gas stations. So how can you score some savings on the pump? We'll have that for you coming up after the break.
Where were the Eagles?
Yeah. But over the weekend, you're not alone. This Memorial Day weekend is huge for travel, especially when it comes to road trips.
Patty Santos shows us the travel rush starting today.
Summer is a month away, but Texans are ready to get away. AAA Texas says over 3.6 million travelers will hit Texas roads and highways over the next 5 days. And one of the top destination places people will travel to includes San Antonio.
The Riverwalk is a big attraction, but certainly the beaches along the coast will be popular. Galveston, Corpus Christi, Port Aransas.
That road trip will cost you about the same that it did last year. That's because AAA says gas prices have remained steady. However, AAA says you can calculate how much it will cost you to travel this Memorial Day weekend by using the gas calculator on their website.
Plug in your starting point, your end point, and if there's any points in between, and that way you can calculate a fuel estimate for your road trip, and that'll kind of give you an idea of what you're going to be paying.
After you fuel up, give your vehicle a look over.
Look under the hood, make sure those belts and hoses are good to go, make sure your fluid levels are topped off, your tires are healthy, they have good tread, they're aired up to the right pressure, and just making sure that overall your vehicle's in good working condition.
Once on the road, stay focused. That includes making sure you're being aware of drunk drivers and not driving after you have been drinking.
Holiday weekends in Texas tend to be deadly because of drinking and driving. There hasn't been a deathless day on Texas roadways in more than 24 years, and 25% of the crashes in Texas are caused by impaired drivers.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
And if you're trying to save a little bit more at the pump, Circle K stations are offering a 40 cents off special of each gallon of gas just for today and only for a few hours. It starts this afternoon at 4. It ends at 7 tonight. And we have details on that on KSAT.com.
You know, the best way to avoid all that traffic, don't even go. Just stay right here. Go downtown.
Go downtown.
Enjoy downtown.
Find yourself a nice cold beverage of choice.
Go for a walk. That doesn't cost any gasoline.
There you go. Maybe under the shade, though, I would say. Or a walk early in the morning. Ursula was talking about, she ran some errands this morning.
I rode a few horses, and it was actually really nice, but it had to happen around 8 a.m.
Yep, exactly.
By 9 o'clock, it was beginning to get a little steamy.
First thing in the morning, you still got some cloud cover. maybe a little bit of a breeze, not too bad, but yes, it is going to be another very hot afternoon. We're at 90 degrees so far, several hours of warming to go, so we're already above the average of 88. The record, by the way, for today is 99 that was set back in 1996. We're going to be pretty close to it. We'll get you another look at that extended forecast after this. All right, welcome back. So yes, we've been talking about the heat. We've been talking about the humidity. Now I want to talk a little bit more in depth about the haze still floating across the south central Texas sky. Once again, take a look at some of these photos that were sent into KSAT Connect from yesterday. This one was out in Castroville. The caption, very relevant, a bit hazy out there. How about this one, another sunset where we had a very vibrant color out there in the sky, and that is actually the caption of this photo. How is this color even possible? One of the reasons is because of those smoke particles filtering through. That agricultural burning is still happening over Mexico. It's just the time of year for it, and some of that smoke is being lofted into a good chunk of South Texas, and that will continue to be the case into our Friday, and in some spots even into the upcoming weekend as well. So because of that, yes, you're noticing a haze out there on the horizon, but also air quality today is still forecasted to be in that unhealthy for sensitive respiratory groups range, which just means if you do find yourself in that group, maybe a few issues out there for a few hours in the afternoons. For most of us, though, the general public, not a lot of issues out there. We're really just going to notice more of those vibrant sunrises and sunsets. Other than that, of course, which is what we'll be monitoring into the upcoming weekend, temperatures will continue to stay elevated, upper 90s, approaching the triple-digit mark out there this weekend, especially on Sunday. And it feels even hotter at times when you factor in all of that humidity. Those dew points will continue to stay elevated over the next several days. Here's a look at where they stand right now in the 70s for pretty much all of us in and around the San Antonio metro. That's in that oppressive category, so you feel it the second you step outdoors, and that will be the theme into our Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into Memorial Day itself. But as we were talking about a little bit earlier in the newscast, if we can find a weak cool front to move in on Monday, which right now that's looking to be the case, maybe a slight break in the humidity by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and that also comes with a slight break in those hotter than average temperatures. Here's the big picture across the state of Texas. Again, some severe weather happening near the Waco and just north of the Bryan College Station area this Thursday afternoon. That's where the severe weather threat is highest across the state of Texas today. A 2 out of 5 risk for places like Dallas, stretching over to Texarkana. We are out of that because we just have a 10% chance for a stray shower today. And again, tomorrow, sitting quiet for most of us over the next several days, then a 20% potential into early next week. I wish we had better rain chances. This is the latest drought monitor update that was released this morning. It's not great. Not a whole lot of changes. We definitely need more rain. So we'll see what we can find after these next 7 days, because until then, we're just going to have to be dealing with the heat. So yes, keep the AC blasting, keep the water bottle handy, and the sunscreen. That's important to remember.
It is. Yes. Thank you.
And we want to take a minute to address something that I'm sure you have seen online already, or you've heard us talking about it here at KSAT 12, but a group of KSAT employees is going to be retiring soon. Ursula and I are two of them.
Now, the group also includes Mark Austin, Mike Osterhage, Jesse Degollado, and Marilyn Moritz. It's a lot of years in that statement. And with that said, we have a lot of time for more goodbyes, and that's going to be, over the next month or so.
So no doubt you're going to be hearing much from us as we get closer to the end of our time here at KSAT. And let me assure you, nothing is going to change as far as the way we have been delivering the news for the last 40 years. The weather, the sports, that is not going to change. However, we are going to be able to dip back in time a little bit and bring up some memories, some fun things that we've been able to do. And hopefully that'll spark the viewer at home to think, oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. I remember that. Remember when we did that?
Well, I've just got to say, and y'all might not even want me to say this, but as a girl growing up in Floresville,
oh, here it comes.
All I did was watch you guys. And I remember my first day here, I walked in, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's two of the best, seriously, that South Texas has ever known. So y'all are amazing. It's an honor to work with y'all, and I'm very excited for this next chapter for you.
Yeah,
guys.
well, it's been a pleasure getting to know all the new people who've been coming into the station, and we hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up watching you.
Yeah. My grandmother watched you.
No, I don't want to hear.
No, hey, I'm going to tell you something. We appreciate everybody that's been watching over the years, because we wouldn't be here without y'all. But we'll be talking about that over the next few weeks.
It's always a compliment. Just remember that.
So it's been a blast. So you'll hear more coming up.
We'll be right back.
We
got we forget y'all.
Yeah, see, you saw us eating those saladas earlier, and we make sure we take care of you guys back there.
And it's all due to these two gentlemen here, brothers, JP and Chris Flores. Always Snack Delights here. Best you can get in town, right?
Best you can get in town, man. Oasis Snack Delights here for every single one of your snack needs, guys.
Yeah, it's all about the Oasis experience. You're going to hear more about that.
All right, and Jen is at a latte throwdown.
Let's go.
Hey, we're getting ready to throw it down. All right, Rachel, I'm watching you. We're doing the latte art throwdown. We're giving you a preview. Don't do it